cans or cans and bottles?
A bit of both. And draft. You know, we sell a decent amount
Of
of
course.
kegs to bars and restaurants.
Like the one here on campus.
The one here on campus.
Ant Hill Pub.
Exactly.
So you guys have
A revival hard
revival.
apple there, and we've had that in Ant Hill for a number of years, even through the ownership change that happened recently. So we love that relationship, of course, and it pours very well. I think you can even get pictures of it.
You can. One of the rare places you can get pictures.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think you can get pictures of Reverend Nat's kind of like anywhere
Yeah.
other than Ant Hill.
It might be the only place.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go get a picture of it.
Maybe.
Maybe. So draft cans, bottles, obviously.
Mhm.
You're throughout the whole
Mhm.
Southland.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere where you can find good beer. So
Yeah.
bottle shops, of course, craft beer bars, anywhere that you can find good stuff you can buy, you can find us. We're distributed through one of the major beer distributors, so you can always ask for it and get it. Yeah, and we're sold from our coverage is from Ventura, sort of Santa Barbara, all the way down to San Diego.
We're here in California.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're in Northern California?
Not in Northern California at all.
No.
Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, New
So
York, Massachusetts, North Carolina.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
what kind of privilege here? You skip over Northern California, come to the important part.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Ah,
Distribution is a little bit tough in Northern California.
I got you. Well, also, and now you said Japan, and where else?
We're shipping to Austria
Austria.
in like a couple of weeks.
I mean, you think they have plenty of cider over there, but they're really craving some
Yeah.
American hard cider.
You know, there's this fascinating thing happening in the beer world in general right now, where a lot of American brewers learned the American craft beer movement, in large part, was influenced by a European beer.
Yes.
So we were able to drink European imports forever if we hunted them down in America. Breweries are like, you know, I'm going to revive the Saison style. I'm going to revive the Keller beer style, whatever. And now what you're seeing is the crazy Americans are interpreting classic European beer styles, and I won't say making it better, but making them American. And European and English brewers are copying what they're seeing here. So it's essentially the beer that that we kind of stole from them and bastardized. They are taking it back and recreating some of our West Coast IPA styles.
Yeah.
In Germany and in England, and it's fascinating. So that's what's happening right now with our Vienna connection. Is the importer there is like we have cider, but this is incredible. And I certainly am not interpreting classic European styles at all. America has always had a strong cider culture here, but we are attached to the importing of American beers. So our Austrian importer also they sell Stone Berlin, so Stone Brewing has the Berlin brewery there. So they're selling Stone Berlin beer as well as Reverend Nat's in their territory. So it's really attached to that American craft beer thing that's happening in Europe right now.
Well, I think what's exciting to me about it, and this is my take on it, is that beer has been made for centuries and centuries, thousands of years, really. And then you got into the Reinheitsgebot laws, and then all of a sudden, beer was interpreted by three things before they realized what yeast was, and it was four things, and that really influenced beer around the world. And for the last few hundred years, there was a standard of beer that you could not be experimental. You didn't have a lot of additives where you would put in fruit and all this kind of stuff, even though that was being done for centuries.
Yeah.
And so I think now we come back to where we understand what good beers are, but we're getting back to where we're pushing what can we put in beer and how do you make it better, and such a variety, because literally, I know in the BJCP guide we have 30-something categories and all these different 5 or 6, 7, 8 subcategories, but there's really unlimited. It's unlimited when you come to beer.
Yeah, categorization is super hard. Like, there's even some categorization happening in the hazy IPA world that we're seeing right now, but it's not actually being reflected in any sort of competition categories.
Sure.
We are seeing that diversity in the market. So, I mean, my business is not updating categories. Good luck to those people.
Yeah.
Because I don't see
that's
how
only
you
for
do
competitions how you do that, right?
Yeah, but I don't see how you do it because the market's constantly adapting.
Yeah.
But
I think it's good for the beer world and cider.
Yeah, it's also good for the beer world and cider world for us to stop every now and then and be like, what are we putting in our beer? Are we literally putting donuts into our beer? Is that trend, or
I think, yeah,
is that
those
going to
aren't.
be a flash
I
in the
think
pan?
some of those. I've had a couple, but I think those are flash in the pans.
Yeah. And people ask me like, what is hazy IPA gonna go away? Hell no. That beer is those kinds of beers are
It's too
delicious.
good.
It's too good. It's not gonna. I think it'll have a reduction in the craziness of it now. All things go in loop. It's not going to be the new IPA. Hazy's not going to be the new
I
IPA.
think. What do you think about brewed IPA? I think brewed IPA is
Yeah, I mean that one
on
may
its
have
way
less of
up.
a life. It'll certainly have more of a life.
Do you think that would influence you with the cider? Would you make a brute cider?
Yeah, we make dry ciders. I'm actually working on a dry cider that is a bit like a brute IPA. So it's going to have some hops in there, but it'll have noble hops, not the juicy West Coast hops.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I
So
mean,
you have like more of that earthy kind of grassy,
yeah,
piney notes
yep,
that
yep.
come with that.
Yeah, a little spicy. Yeah, that's the
Yep.
theory. Yeah.
Nice.
We made a hazy IPA type cider a year and a half ago, as the haze thing was just first when I heard about what Trillium was doing, or even Hetty Topper. I was
Sure.
like, hey, how do I get that? So I reached out to some friends who were some home brewers. Oftentimes, I find that home brewers are kind of on a bit of the bleeding
Cusp.
edge,
Yes.
of figuring. They might not know what they're saying sometimes, but they've read stuff online more so than the professional brewers. Professional brewers are like, I'm gonna wait till this thing shakes out a little bit before I dive in. But home brewers are a little more adventurous.
Sure.
They're willing to screw up, and I don't have the ability to screw up on a 40-barrel batch, but if you screw up on a 5-gallon batch, it's okay, no big deal. So yeah, the homebrew shop in Portland is I go in there all the time, and they like me when I walk in there because I say, sell me stuff, and because they're just like, we got this new yeast in, we got these new hops, we got these new cryo hops. We just put stuff on the counter, and I'll just walk out with it and see what I can make with it.
So what do you got in the hopper, as it were?
Hey.
What do you got to?
Uh,
What would you say with that with apples? I don't know.
yeah, I'm doing a lot of work with barrels recently, trying to figure out if there are things that, particularly on very high ABV beers, like if anybody has had St. Adam's Utopias, one of the common complaints or characteristics, or whatever, about Utopias is soy sauce. People
Yes.
can get soy sauce flavor
I
out
had
of that
some
beer.
yesterday. Not Utopia, it's a beer
It's a soy sauce beer.
it was, and honestly, I don't usually get that, but I still got the roasty and the coffee, the kind of acrid coffeeness.
Yeah.
But I got soy sauce, and I was like, and I
Yeah.
have to go talk to that brewer. And
Right.
say,
So I've talked to brewers like just out of you drink some Utopias, and you're like, hey, how does the beer get you soy sauce?
and people were spending so much money for that beer, but I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Well, so I don't. There isn't a strong consensus about soy sauce in beer. The consensus is about it comes from a malt, something to do with the malt fermentation.
Sure.
But we have had soy sauce in essentially a imperial stout style cider with no grain in it, and
Okay.
I had soy sauce developed during the barrel aging process. So when I had that happen to this 16% black, heavily boiled, it's close as you can get to it being a stout. I brought it up with some professional brewers in Portland. I was like, hey, I'm getting this soy sauce in the cider, and they're like, wow, that's not anything that anyone has ever come up with. So I'm still
it's
trying to.
from the yeast, maybe.
Well, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I've
Some people would say that's umami, but
Yeah, I mean, I kind of dug it. There was 5 barrels that we did all at once, and 2 of them got soy sauce. But the soy sauce also dissipated in barrel. We didn't have to change anything.
So you just had to give it time for the yeast to clean itself up.
Well,
So
the
it
yeast,
just happened
the
to be at the time.
fermentation had already happened outside of the barrels. We were just doing barrel aging and finished product. So it's fascinating.
But it's still a live product. There's still, you don't filter,
For sure.
right? So
For
there's
sure.
yeast in there of
Yep.
some sort.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
it's
It may be
if
a
it came
yeast
and it went away,
autolysis.
there's some kind of thing
Yeah.
that's you give it enough time for it to
Yep.
clean itself up.
Yeah, there may be some sort of yeast autolysis, yeast death happening in the barrel. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So some of those things that I'm really excited about right now are maybe getting into a little bit more of the science or some of the crossover information between beer and cider. What do brewers know that I don't know? A huge amount. What do they know that I may be able to apply to my work? So more work with hops. I mean, I'm a hop novice, basically. But working with breweries like Barley Browns, they're in Eastern Oregon, Baker City. They won GABF Gold for IPA a number of times. Working with Breakside, seeing if I can glean some of their hop knowledge.
And you got the university by you that's doing a whole lot of
Yep.
hop.
University, Oregon State University, Corvallis. Yep, they got a bunch of great hop programs there. But it's just I heard from Ben Edmund at Breakside that
they have great beers, by the way.
Great beer, yeah. So he said, crazy. Citra, don't put it in 15 minutes before the end of the boil. Put it in at the beginning of the boil or the end of the boil. But don't put it in 15 minutes before the end of the boil because it'll produce more cat pee as a flavor.
Yes.
And I was like, how the hell did you figure that out? Like 15-minute mark, and he did that work. So that's just one little tidbit, right? And we don't do any boiling to speak of, so that's not an applicable piece of information for me. But there's so much information that brewers know. There is so much more knowledge in beer than there is in cider. I'm 100% sure that I know more about beer than I know about cider. And I know a lot about cider as a proportion of the total cider knowledge out there. I know very, very high amount of cider knowledge, but I know more about beer, and I know probably a fraction of the percentage of beer knowledge out there because there's less known.
So you're saying basically you're on the front edge then because there's a lot more to learn.
Trying to do, but also
trying to push the boundaries.
And I think the way I try to push the boundaries is not just sitting in my lab and experimenting, but like talking to chefs and talking to them about how they pair foods together, and talking to beer makers and give me some more hints about some of your yeast and some of your fermentation temperatures, and what other outside sources can I bring into cider making rather than just sitting within the cider world very insulated. And some cider makers, some of my favorite cider makers out there are cider first and last. But I'm not. I'm pretty much beer first and last, and cider somewhere in the middle.
Are you doing anything like one of my favorites is I like to make a cider, and so mead and cider together. I can make them separately. I've never mixed them afterwards, blended, but I've been thinking about it. But I'll ferment it together with the honey and the apple juice. I do pear ciders and that kind of stuff. But have you done anything with beer and cider? Are you thinking about that? It's a braggot, if I remember correctly. Is that
good
right?
word. Sure.
I think that's right. Someone might correct me, but I think it's. But anyways, I know that there's a version with beer and cider together. And I'm almost positive it's a braggot.
Wait, braggot of honey. Honey beer.
Oh, maybe that's the beer and honey. You're right. So there's something with cider and beer. Well, we'll get them.
Yeah, we just blend them together. Yeah, we do a ton of blends, collaboration. I've never actually collaborated with a cider company ever. I've just collaborated with lots of breweries. I mentioned that Barley Brown's knowledge that Tyler from Barley Brown's helped me out with, and that ended up actually becoming a collaboration cider with his name on it and my name on it. It was a cider, no grain, but I was using his hop program basically into the cider. I've got a collaboration going right now with Great Notion, the sort of hot, hazy IPA people out of Portland, very big in the beer trading circles. They have a pancake beer that's made with it's an imperial stout made with maple syrup, and we have that co-mingling in whiskey barrel with one of my ciders right now. That'll come out at the end of the year. So
that sounds good.
Yeah, a lot of times it is just take a little bit of your liquid, take a little bit of my liquid, put it together, and wait. That's oftentimes that's how we do. I did a collaboration with Cascade Barrel House a couple of years ago, and they had their strawberry sour, and I blended it with an heirloom cider, and it came out like a strawberry creamsicle. It was just fantastic. Not sweet though.
Nice.
So.
That sounds good too.
Yeah, the sky's the limit. When I talk to breweries that want to do a collaboration, man, it's just, what are you feeling like? What's your favorite beer that you want to do something with these days? So
yeah.
See how it goes.
Well, I was really impressed when I was up in Portland, Beer Vana, which I didn't know that was the nickname of the city before I was there. But, man, you guys have a lot of breweries.
Right.
And a few cideries, right? There's one or two more besides you?
Yeah, I think there's like 4 or 5 total in the city.
But it's a really big community up there.
Right.
And,
we have fewer. San Diego likes to say that they have the most breweries in the county. Sure, they do. We have the most breweries per capita, but it's not about the numbers. It's about the like you said, it's sort of the integration with the community.
Yeah.
If I'm traveling and somebody says, "Where do you live in Portland?" I say, "Oh, I live 3 blocks from Great Notion." I don't say, I live in the corner of Ainsworth and 12th. People who aren't even necessarily beer drinkers understand what beer means to Portland, what the beer economy means to Portland. In a lot of ways, outside of Anchor Steam, we were the modern creators of modern craft beer. So, Deschutes is just across the mountain in Bend.
Yeah, and they just had 30 years. And
yep, Widmer Brothers. We love Widmer Brothers deeply because they really created the Portland beer scene many, many years ago. Bridgeport Brewing is still beloved by all of us. They were the first real IPA that came on the scene, Bridgeport IPA.
Yeah. And now defunct Henry's.
Henry's, yeah, it was pre-prohibition and still there as a brew pub. The beer culture is deep. There's festivals every weekend, multiple festivals every weekend. It's seen as a legitimate sort of adult thing to be really into beer in Portland.
I'm going to go where I think it's interesting, and we have about maybe 7-8 minutes left, but I have a lot of people talk about, oh, the bubble is going to burst and breweries, and I'm like, well, we just passed 4,000. Like we're just past, we're probably between 4,000 and 5,000, pushing 5,000 this year, but we're over pre-prohibition levels, but we're not even close to with the wineries, the amount of small wineries are, and they all have their thing.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, I'm like, if it's good product and it's good management and it's marketed well, then I think there's going to be a place, at least locally. Some of them become regional. Obviously, you're becoming a regional and going national, international now. But I'm going to bring this. They're talking about the bubble, but man, you guys have like 80-something breweries or more.
No, it isn't.
I'm saying in Portland, and you're all able to sustain. And some of them you can walk. Literally, I walked within 3 blocks to 4 or 5 different breweries.
Oh yeah,
and no one's complaining there.
No, it's all about like. Does anybody ever complain about how many muffler shops there are? No, there are the correct number of muffler shops for the number of mufflers in the town, basically, right?
Sure.
So I think there's still room in Portland. I'm sure there's room in LA. There's tons of room.
Orange County, I think all of the U.S.
The trick is that you can't just come into the beer industry now and say, I'm going to be the next, fill in the blank, Ballast Point. No, that's never going to happen. There's never going to be another $1 billion acquisition.
Yeah.
I don't think
Most
so.
likely.
Like, why bother? It's not. So, but if you, like you said, you put together good management, you have to put together a sensible business plan that you're going to serve a particular niche. What is your niche? Why are people going to go to you? Maybe you're the only brewery in a 15-mile radius. Okay, check. That's good enough. Maybe you're going to meet like Phantom Carriage when they started up. They were like, there's not enough sour beers around here. And they didn't flip and start making IPAs. They're stuck to their guns, and they have a legitimate business now. But I think there's plenty of opportunity for breweries and cideries to start as long as they have modest or realistic or thoughtful business plan. It can totally work.
I mean, like I said, within the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 breweries open up here in Orange County.
Yeah.
And everybody was slammed.
You got to make good beer. You got to make good beer. It's
good product.
There's definitely going to be. There will be a reckoning, not a bubble bursting, but there will be a reckoning that will happen within I don't know how many years. And if you just make beer and you ride the wave of local beer, only local beer, you will get burned.
I think that's already kind of happening.
Yeah,
I already see that.
Thankfully, but I mean, I still go into bars and I have a beer. I'm like, that's a bad beer.
Yeah.
Do they make any good? Like, no, they don't make any very good beer.
Yeah. But because they're local, people support them.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, support local guys. Support local.
Support local and good.
And good. I agree. It should be the two. So tell us about the plans with Reverend Nats, or what we have to look at. I mean, we didn't even talk about half the names and half the ciders. Maybe if you want to go out with some of that, but
yeah.
But come on, I need to hear some more cider here, my friend, because you make a really good product, and I think you're downplaying what you do.
Well, I love making cider. That's the important thing about it. You can find us in the local grocery stores, like I said, and bottle shops and whatnot. If you ever come to Portland, our tap room is right near downtown, and we're open 7 days a week.
Yeah, I ended up being 2 blocks away. I had no idea.
Yep. We're kind of on a leafy side street.
And you guys had some big party recently.
Yeah, you were there at the tail end of Oregon Cider Week, which happens in June every year.
Which I had no idea because I was there for a beer thing. Yep. And I missed it by a night. I could have made it that night,
right.
But you had a big party. Yep. You shut down the block. And
Yep, totally. Yeah, we do a ton of community events. Feature other cideries. We had a big event with cider cocktails. So a bunch of other cideries in Portland all made a cocktail in a keg with cider being the predominant alcohol in there. It was put them all on tap. So we're big fans of cider overall, not just ourselves. We also have we ship cider as well. So we have a program called the Tent Show Club, and you can go online and fill out the easy form, and then every month there's a rare release, and we ship to California too. So
is that basically for just like festivals and beer events and things?
Mainly for nerds. So we have like really unusual ciders that we put out there. So the whiskey barrel tepache with ghost chili that you drank, that was as a tent show release as well. So every month we have a sort of experimental release in the Tent Show Club.
Interesting. So is that so it's more like a society kind of a membership club thing?
Yeah, membership club.
How many people do you have in that?
There's about 80 now.
Nice. So do you guys have a cap for that?
We cut off membership soon, but it's still
so it's done. It's done yearly.
Yep. It's a term, 8-month term.
If you're watching a video, we keep having a light because someone's at the door, but no one's listening, and for some reason the buzzer's not working. There we go. So you're probably wondering why is that light on? So that's cool. So if someone really wanted to be, if they could join. They don't have to be local.
Right. We ship.
Do you have to pick it up local? You ship it.
No, we ship it. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
So otherwise, checking out your favorite bottle shops and looking for Reverend Nat's, looking for maybe you like our cherry cider. Go find another cherry cider that you might add some diversity to your palate.
Talk about that one, the cherry cider. I think it's good stuff.
You had that one when you were in Portland. Yeah, that one is
good.
A single variety Granny Smith apple. So it's just Granny Smith, nothing else. And Granny Smith, I'm sure you know, it's a tart apple, a pretty sour apple. And I would use the Fuller's English Ale yeast, if you know the Fuller's beer, of course. We add cherry juice, 3 kinds of sour pie cherries, so Montmorency and a Morello cherry that comes out of Hungary. And then we top it all off with a little bit of cloves and ghost chili. And we make our own ghost chili infusion with dried ghost chilies. And we add just a tiny little bit to it. But like I said earlier, it isn't a hot chili cider. It just has sort of I like to call it a curiosity at the end. After you finish drinking it, it just lingers a little bit with a little bit of kind of interesting flavor in there.
I thought it was good because you could get the spice, but it wasn't killing me.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people can't taste the spice until I say there's chili in there.
No, I got it, but it wasn't. I wouldn't have never thought it was a ghost
everyone's
pepper.
totally different to different levels of sensitivity.
Out some people. Even me, I was like, really? It's a ghost pepper?
Wow. Yeah. And there's we take one ghost pepper and kind of wave it in the room where we're making the cider. It's not as strong.
That's funny. We wave it around and you get the essence.
Yeah.
So basically, we've come to the end of the show. It's been an hour. I want to say thanks for coming in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Southern California. I'm looking forward to going and having a beer or cider. I don't know why I keep saying beer, but beer and cider. We're going to go have some Reverend Nat Cider.
Maybe one of each.
Maybe over at the Anthill Pub or something here. But you're welcome back on, and I ever just wish you the best of luck, and I hope things are going to go well, especially with your international distribution.
The cider ambassador.
I'm telling you. Well, I'm the ambassador of all things beer. That includes, cider and mead and anything pertaining to it. So, anyways, folks, my name is Mika Woodward. I am the beer ambassador. I'm here every Tuesday at 5 o'clock talking about the world of craft beer. I want to say again, thanks to Reverend Nat coming in, and
Thank
Miranda
you.
as well. I know you're kind of sitting there most of the time, but,
cool.
but hopefully you had a good time.
Lots to say and it's fun to listen to.
Yeah, it's good to learn, huh? And so we're gonna, let you guys go out on a little bit of music before the next DJ comes in. I think it's Caitlin. And until next week, drink good beer, eat good food, hang out with good people, and drink more good beer and cider. All right, my friends. Until then,
Cheers.
Cheers. Howard, so So I didn't get to talk to you guys. How were your levels? Because mine was messing up, and I was trying. That's why I went over there and turned it. But you could hear yourself, and
It got good.
I just realized we gave you like the worst set.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, it's fine.
I don't know how.
I didn't even know if I was going to be talking or
It was
not.
mostly
so
because
listening.
they were throwing the hammer and all that kind of stuff at the last minute.
Don't forget your.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. This is all good. See you later.